Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. So, just kind of recapping, last week I got really busy. Was only able to, put out 2 videos the whole week. This week is shaping up to be more of the same. Right now, my work is just crazy. Now, there's a lot of times that it's just really slow, a lot of downtime, and those are the weeks where you see me put out pretty much a video a day. Other times like this, all the storms, all the testing, getting certs, recertifying on certain things, OSHA stuff, it just eats up my whole day. Okay, and yeah, so I'm doing my best to get stuff out. The Magic X040 is in country. Tracking shows it has been handed off to a local carrier. I got these 2 devices ready to compare. So I got those out to show you a little bit now what I'll be doing. And when I get the Magic X040, I'll be comparing it to my regular DS Lite. And of course, the biggest screen I can get to run DS, my Samsung Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. So at one point, I might still have them. I had a DSi. I had 2 pretty beat up DSIs I had picked up somewhere. Don't know if I still have them or not. I'll try and find them. And then I used to have a really nice DSi XL, but it's another one of those things where I got offered a good price on it. So, but I am in the market for another one. I kind of miss having that big DSi XL. That, honestly, for dual screen handhelds, that was probably one of the best. That and the original 3DS, the small one, best dual screen handhelds. That big DSi was lightweight. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was wonderful. And then that little 3DS was the perfect size. I mean, I had the new model 3DS XL, the big gray ones that they did later on. I've had the original 3DS, the in-between one where it had the little like rectangular home button and all that just under. I hated that one. I hated that one so much. So, to me, the original small 3DS and the DSi XL were the best dual screen systems, period. But I do love my DSi, or my DS Lite. I picked this thing up for like $25 a few years back. Picked it up on, the whole Facebook market thing. I came across it. Some person was like, selling my kids DS Lite. They grew out of it. They're out the house now. They don't even care that it's here. So first person to say something can come get it. I messaged them. They were like, sure, $25. I drove an hour to go pick this up. I ended up getting this with a couple games for $25, which I didn't care about the games, but it was in great condition. If you look at these online, anywhere you look online, these DS lights, all that, the regular DS, the DS Lite, they are some of the nastiest handhelds on the used market. Nobody treated a DS or a DS Lite properly. They're covered in gunk and they got stickers all over them. Some stickers are half ripped off and you can tell there's like Thanksgiving dinner from 4 years ago stuffed in like one of the speaker spots. Like they're all broken, busted up, damaged screen, dead pixels, the natural yellowing of the screen, which this one I think has a little yellowing going on. Noticed it this morning. But they are some of the nastiest handhelds you could pick up used. Okay. After that, like 3DS, you can get some pretty nasty 3DSs, but DS, DS Lite, DSi, and XL are all disgusting secondhand. I mean, they're bad. So if you're going to pick one up, either get lucky like I did and find somebody that took care of their stuff and is getting rid of it, or find somebody that refurbishes these. The issue with that is the after cost of parts and things like that for refurbishing these, and I've looked into this in the past, there's not a good profit margin to like DS Lite and regular DS. Okay, I've refurbished one in the past, and even selling high end, what they go for, you're still right at like maybe $5 to $10 profit. Okay, so now the prices have changed since I've done that, so there's probably more in it. But the extreme rate shell that you see a bunch of people do for these, and they're that plastic see-through extreme rate, they look decent. That extreme rate shell is a mixed bag. Half the time it's really bad, the other half the time it's decent. That's right, the other half the time it's not like it's the best ever. No, it's just decent on a good day. So keep that in mind. Now the people that redo DS's with all original parts, get them all cleaned up, whatever, wherever they're getting them, those tend to be the best. So when I've redone one of these with like the RGB buttons and all, it was way too much damn work. Never doing it again. I still have a couple of these tore apart laying on a table, and they've been laying in the same spot for like 2 years in a tray with all the parts laid out, so I don't forget what, where everything goes. I'm never going to rebuild it. So, and those are all scrap parts anyway. All right, moving on. So, like I said, I got these set up to compare with the Magic X 040. The only thing I don't like about DSi is that speaker. That speaker is really quiet. Now, in a quiet room, it's perfect. If anything else is going on, and in certain games, you can't hear that. Okay? It's very, very, very quiet. So, I mean, it does have headphone jacks and all that. And like I said, mine came with everything. I even got the covers down here for the GBA slot. But of course, you know what I'm doing game-wise. You can see it. But other than that, man, I mean, this one looks great. I love it. I'm really interested to see the difference between, more or less, the resolution between this and the Magic X, because it's going to be very different. It's going to be like the difference between these two. So this over here, let me kill that. This over here is just running Melon DS. So, I mean, I could always Bluetooth a controller to this and then get rid of the button overlay here. There you go. No touch. There we go. I can turn on speaker if I need to. I can fast forward. I can go back. It's got some nice features. So the best feature, though, is going to have to be having a decent speaker. So be prepared for that to be loud. So much louder. The other problem is it is uncomfortable to play on something like this for a long period of time because all that weight is pulling against you. So it works fine if you Bluetooth a controller to it, prop it up on something, and sit there with a controller. And then if you need touch, of course, your hand's right there. Boom, 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 whatever you need. And you can always grab, hold on, I got one. There, oh, there it was. You can always grab one of these little stylus. You know what I mean? They work fine. Sweet. Anyway. So when the Magic X comes in, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna compare it to all this stuff. Love it. And of course with the cards I have in it. If I just hit all the buttons at once. Yay. Alright. Now let's talk about this one. The OneX Sugar. The first dual screen transformable. Everybody loves to put, they are the first to do this. They are the first to do whatever. Okay? It's not even a milestone anymore. Like every bank is whatever first. Bank First, Southwest Bank of the First National Banking Association, all this shit. Everybody's first, okay? And I mean, at this point, it's like Little League. Everybody gets a trophy. So everybody's the first. Everybody's the best. Let's all hold hands. Have yourself a Coke and a smile, all right? All right, moving past the shit I get hung up on. So I kind of briefly covered this sometime back in a video. I couldn't tell you which one, nor do I give a shit. And it's not even that important. Don't even go back and watch it on one of my videos because it was a very small, it was like 20 seconds I covered this. Okay? And all I mentioned in that video was this scares the hell out of me. It scares the hell out of me because of how many points of failure are on this handheld. Now, I love the idea. I like innovation. I like that we're trying different stuff. Okay? I like that the handheld community, world, whatever. I like that people are now going in that random direction. Let's try this. Let's build this. Let's get a handheld that looks like this. This is interesting as shit. Okay? I love that. It just scares the hell out of me because we have a handheld with multiple hinges. I mean, this thing is the OneX hinge plus here. You know what I mean? And I watched like Russ's video on it, and I did not. It's not the fact that his is a prototype or a tech demo and it has plastic pins or screws in it, like he was saying. That never worried me. I understand what he has and what he's looking at. It's not the finished product. It's still the fact that it's hinge. That worries me. All right. I have no issues with the company that built this, OneX. I've only ever used a OneX briefly. It wasn't mine. Somebody else had it. I got to pick it up and mess with it. It felt like every other PC handheld out there. But it felt quality. It was fine. But I like that this is what they're doing. That, you know, they're thinking, I guess, outside the box. You know what I mean? That's nice. But I think the overall design, I think it misses. Okay? I've never watched this. And I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Oh, God, this is fucking awful. The fuck are we watching? Oh, my God. It's so bad. The fuck did we just... What the hell was that? You know what? I've changed my mind. The hell with this company. Nope. Done. Finished. Get out of here. You now rate lower than anything else I've ever used. No, I'm kidding. I'm not ever going to knock a company for cheesy, shitty commercial. That commercial had to be... They did that with the thought, like, hey, let's make it shitty, 80s style, cheesy commercial. I'm waiting for the old MTV logo to pop up on that shit. Anyway, if you were looking at it as they were like flipping it and doing this and that and the other, and when you watch these videos from these guys and you see all this stuff that they normally get with, mainly I and Neo, you're not getting that, okay? Always remember that. You don't get that. All you get is whatever you order. Now, OneX, they are giving away these packages with the early bird stuff. So if you do the early bird and you pick it up now, you're going to get caps and D-pads and all this stickers and cases. But if you don't, you're not getting that shit. So another thing I want to cover is the D-pad. Okay. The D-pad is magnetic. It sits on top of the button. So watch, he has to pick this up and move it here to use it as a D-pad. I mean, you can use the buttons. There it is. So take a D-pad and set it on top of this, and it's magnet, so it's attached, but it's also floating. It's now stacked up on here. Okay, so that means left, right, up, down. It's positioned on top of the buttons, so you're gonna easily hit a false direction. And if you don't use it, you have a separated D-pad. Now, if you guys ever looked into like the Pimax Portal, which had the like magnetic Joy-Cons before Lenovo did that and before Nintendo did that, the Pimax Portal actually did that first, that I know of. Okay, someone's about to hit the comments. I'm like, well, actually, there's this obscure company back 10 years ago that had magnetic Joy-Con style controllers, so you're a liar. Anyway, oh, let me stop this here. No, okay. I want to talk about this, but anyway, so the D-pad sits on top of that. That's going to be the most uncomfortable shit. All right, I can see myself like playing and go to hit like the D-pad and like scoop up under it and flick the D-pad off of there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to hit it. I'm going to go in the middle of a game like, oh, I got this. Bam! I'm going to smack that D-pad. I'm going to bash into the side of it. It's going to go sliding off. Now, on these review videos, these guys are very careful. They know what they're doing, so they pick up and they set down on it. And, and Russ talks about how in order to get down exactly, he has to press the very edge of that D-pad, which means you're putting pressure not down, but now you're at an angle. They're just magnets. Eventually, you're going to hit that wrong, and that's going to slide right off of there. All right. Now, this is all tech demo. Maybe they change it. Maybe they deepen the wells on the side of the D-pad and it kind of caps over a little, but that would also stop button presses. So they'd have to make like a D-pad like this with actually a secondary button rubber membrane on the cardinal direction press, and it would go, nah, that's not going to work. It's all going to be stupid. Anyway, so if you need a D-pad, avoid this one, guys. I mean, it's cool. I like the idea behind it. That's it. Now, one thing I want to talk about, and no, my keyboard's sitting back there, so I don't want to do that. So in this orientation, he has it. Okay. I don't want to I don't want to, what do you call it? I don't want to go full screen. Damn it. And my camera's being a shitbag right now. Whatever. Yeah, okay. So I want a full screen to show you this better, but my keyboard's sitting over there. I don't want to sit here and click around on the screen. I don't want to fuck something up, so I'm leaving it as is. So this orientation right here, if you flip it over, this would be the bottom. This is the top. So here's your L and R buttons right here. That's your exhaust vent. So while your hands are here, you have an exhaust vent here blowing heat directly onto your finger. Keep that in mind. We don't know how hot it gets, but with the Snapdragon G3 Gen 3 3G G3G whatever's in it, I can only assume once you're playing some higher end shit, it's gonna get a little warm. It's going to blow that heat right at your hands. Furthermore, it's going to blow that heat right at these buttons. It is sitting on these buttons. It is going to cook these over time. This is a serious topic for me because of like my DMG and other devices. They overheat, shit gets cooked, your handheld dies. You're in this thing for $600, $700, $800, $900, and this doesn't get thought out. Okay, nobody thought about this. It always feels like these companies build these handhelds, they give it to a guy and say, we're going to take a quick video of you playing on it. And you see someone, they're like fucking button mashing, and you're watching them button mash, and you're like, wait a minute, they're playing Final Fantasy 7 or 8. Why are you button mashing? It's like when I was younger, they, what the hell? Charlie's Angels, right? They did those, the movies, the nowadays movies. There is a part, when I was a kid, I remember seeing this. I don't remember which one it was, but this chick gets knocked out of a window. She goes like rolling down this hill, this cliffside thing. I think it was Drew Barrymore, actually. And she ends up like falling into the yard of this other house. And you see these two kids sitting there, and they're like button mashing controllers, like, oh shit, oh, and there's two of them playing at the same time, and they're like, oh yeah, hell yeah, they're gaming it out. And if you look on the TV, it's Final Fantasy VIII. They're summoning, was it Quetzalcoatl? I can't remember his name, but the Thunder Chicken. It's the summon screen for that, and they're both like, oh, it's shit like that doesn't get fully thought out. Okay, I guess that's my point. So they never actually have a person, it feels like they never have a person use these for a long period of time. And if they do have somebody use it, they're giving it to somebody that's too much of a kiss ass to look at them and go, okay, this is a bad design. This is why. No, they give it to the brown-nosed motherfucker that's sitting there going, this is so great. Oh, well, why is the skin missing on your finger? You know what? I burnt both of these on the oven last night. It wasn't this hot metal and air coming out of there that fried my shit to the bone. No, it was, I did it. I deep fried just these two fingers, for fun. They don't ever do that shit. Even Anbernic's little quick videos, and we're going to see one later on in this video, it really feels like bullshit, Like, the person playing it is just button mashing sometimes, and then you see him, like, stop, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm still pumping buttons, and this is a screen that doesn't matter on, so I better stop. But they never have a real person get these. And when all these, like ETA Prime and Rust and all them, when they get a tech demo, this is right here, this is final steps. So someone saying this shit is uncomfortable to hold, the weight distribution is awful, these vents are cooking my fingers, they're going to cook these buttons, eventually they're going to warp, whatever, get weak because you're heating this plastic up, and then it's cooling when you stop, and it's heating and cooling and heating, and shit's going to expand and contract and break. All right? Nobody goes into that. And even if these guys did, this shit is already so much money in, and at the final stages, they probably will not go back. Well, not probably. They will not go back and redesign. They're not going to do that shit. Okay? They might try to reroute some shit, whatever. Highly unlikely this is going to be, or highly unlikely that they reroute. It is very likely this is 100% just the end result, except with metal screws. We fucking hope. Okay? Russ did cover that. Like I said, his tech demo had like plastic screws or pins in all of it, and it's going to be metal when we get it. It better be. All right? Because people are going to spend this type of money on this, and the hinges are going to break, and someone's going to be like, this shit has a plastic screw in it, or a plastic pin in the hinge. And then we're going to have to hear, oh my God, a couple of these were in the warehouse. We are so sorry. Come on. Anyway, okay, not like that's happened. Anyway, so I am worried about this thing. Overall, I love the design. I love that they're going this direction. I believe we should keep this up. I mean, there's a lot of cool shit on here. Like, they made it really flashy. This setup with the size difference between like the L1 and L2, like the big whole corner of it, and then that little strip, doesn't look good to me. But until your hands are holding that handheld and you kind of position the way it'll force you to position your hands, I don't know how well that works. All right, I haven't heard anybody really bitch about that, but I haven't watched a ton on this either. So, yeah. All right. And like Russ said, he said he realized that spelled out. It doesn't. It's a winky face like this bullshit, but it looks like it spells out. And in his video, he said, now I can't unsee that. So I just want to say, thank you, Russ. Now I can't unsee that. Okay? So now every time I look at a OneX thing and I see this, it spells out to me. It's some of that shit you wish you could just unhear or unknow. Not that it actually angers me. I think it's funny because as soon as he said it, I looked at it and went, oh, damn it. Now that's all I'm going to see. So all of it says out. So like, get the hell out. Don't do this. Run. I'm kidding. Although the pricing on this for the early bird being $5.99 is awesome. Okay, I have to say that's a price I understand. That's a price that I feel is good and reasonable for this device. I don't feel like it's too greedy. You know what I like, and it's only right now. This could change. There's not a third option down here for double the price for a retro color model. You notice that? They don't have like a 12 terabyte storage, 400 gig RAM retro color model for $5,000 that down here. Thank you for not doing that. It's the same price whether you get this color or this color, and that's the way it should be. Anyway, all in all, if you have the money and you want to jump into something new and innovative, we should support this. Okay? I don't agree. I may not like or agree with the end result, and there's obviously going to be, some design hurdles they got to get over to create this design, and it's going to cause these drawbacks. The D-pad thing is like that because of how you're going to have to flip and turn, and they can't put a stationary D-pad in. I get that. And honestly, that could be the best way to go, is just a little magnetic D-pad on top. It is what it is. But I believe we should back companies and support companies that are doing this kind of innovation, that are trying the new stuff. I'm not a big fan of the RG slide, but I support that. And it does look cool, all smashed down. Like, it feels like it's not as tall. Like that, it looks like it's, of course, it's a lot bigger in person. And the last thing I'm going to have an issue with before I move on is when you're in this mode, keep in mind that directly behind it, sitting exposed, is your other screen. It is just sitting on the back there. Now the screens are separate. They can do different shit. You can have a video here, play here. We've seen this. This is not new. But that also terrifies me, that directly in the back, that's not being shown in these pictures, is your second screen that's sitting exposed. So when you're playing and you set it down, or you do this, or you're doing that, and you're putting it, that's a screen that you're laying face down. No matter where you lay that, you're laying a screen face down. You are going to have to undo it all, like lay it all out, put it in big dual screen mode, then lay it down to not lay it on a screen. Worries the hell out of me, but I hope it works out. I hope this is actually becomes one of the best. I hope these hinges hold out. OneX, I have faith in you. I think the sugar's neat, and I really, really hate the fact that a long time ago, there was a OneX like sugar cube vertical handheld that looked awesome. It had a weird ass rotating screen, but it looked awesome. I hate that disappeared. You guys should revisit that and make that happen. All right, guys, moving on. I know I spent a lot of time on this and the DS stuff. Those two were the main things I wanted to talk about in this video, okay? At this point, I am moving on to other handheld news. If you don't give a shit about the Analog 3D, the new Trim UI Smart Pro Mini, and the RG477M, end it here, move on. Don't waste your time with any more of my video. Other than that, if you're just listening to me do my thing while you're working, driving, got me in your ear like it's a damn podcast, that's what's up. Moving on. So the Analog 3D has been delayed again. Analog Pocket doing their thing. This has been delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed, and even when it comes out, you're not going to get one. Okay? Just, if you really want this, okay? If you really want the Analog 3D, was that what? Yeah, Analog 3D. If this is something you're dying for, your ass better be on their website refreshing that shit an hour early. Okay? Because Analog's business model is fuck everybody. All right, they don't care. The moment this goes live, assholes all around the world are going to buy 10, 20, 30, 40 of them. And same day, they're going to be on eBay. They're going to be everywhere for triple the price. All right. That's always happens with the Analog Pocket. It's going to happen with this. It's happened with the rest of them. Honest people can't get one because all these assholes buy them out and sell them for triple the price. Never buy one when they do that. I don't care how bad you want it. Don't do that. Do not support that bullshit. Let them lose money. Let them sit on that shit until they have to drop it below sticker, and then you buy it. Make them lose money. This is not Pokemon cards. We shouldn't stand for this shit. Anyway, this type of system I do not give a shit about. I like the controller from 8-Bit though. I think that is great that someone finally built a Bluetooth N64 layout controller. That is going to be handy as shit. Thank you for that. However, the actual analog console I will not purchase because I don't give a shit. Period. I can get this controller, Bluetooth it to my Retroid Pocket 5, throw that shit on the screen. I'm good. I don't need this. I don't have a collection of physical N64 games. If you do and you love this stuff, I am not saying that it's stupid. I am not saying you shouldn't. I am saying I don't. Me, this guy, doesn't care. You care? Cool. Me? No, don't give a shit. Okay? I'm only covering it for the people that are here that do care. And I'll cover more of it, but right now it's delayed. The next news article about this will probably be that it's delayed. I didn't read this, but glossing over, I've seen something rare, something tariff changes will begin shipping. Okay, it's all about money. So whenever they can get it out and make the most money and lose and not have to spend so much for shipping and whatnot, that's when you'll get one. Okay? That's all it's about, because they're like, you know what? It's going to cost us an extra buck to ship these this month. It might be. We might be able to do it $1 cheaper next month. So let's hold off. Nobody hit the comments and say the real price. Okay, I'm joking. I don't give a shit if you're going to be in there going, actually, they're holding back because it's an extra $30 a piece. Don't care. I'm just fucking around. All right, moving on. Trim UI Smart Pro Mini thing. Cool. Like, I know Trim UI is like really stepping up their game. All right. The Smart Pro was a massive step for Trim UI. That brought them out of the shadows and into the spotlight. And boy, they love the spotlight. Okay. So they did the Trim UI Smart Pro. And you got to remember, these are people behind like the old little white see-through one that, what was it, like the A66 or whatever, the Model S. They had multiple names for it. And then they did the Trim UI Smart, the little itty-bitty colorful bastard. And that was like supposed to have its own store that you can like even get ROMs and shit off of. They never finished it. That side of it. Whatever. But they were always in the shadow. They were like Pal Kitty-ish. But not as much stuff. They had a few things. They were even like hidden by Pal Kitty. You know what I mean? Even Pal Kitty cast a shadow on them. And Pal Kitty, you know, they get a shadow cast on them by, I don't know, On Brand. Not right now. Pal Kitty, you're doing amazing. Love you guys. Your quality is so much better than it used to be. Keep it up. So anyway, Trim UI did the Smart Pro after the Smart. Long time after the Smart, they did the Smart Pro. This shit was a home run. Okay? Because they had the black version, the white version, and then they even had this retro color. And guess what? They didn't charge you 4 times the price for the fucking color. Same price, no matter what color. Love that. Not that they would because of the type of company. I mean, they're like Anbernic or Retroid, so, you know, that's what it is. They're not fucking Neo. So there's no hardware or storage differences in color. Anyway, and I really did like this color. I had bought one when they came out. A coworker of mine, me and him still work together every day. When this came in, it came to my office. I was setting it up. All right. And he came in, and it was his son's birthday the next day. And he still didn't know what to get his son. And he seen that handheld and was like, can I buy that? off of you. So I sold it to him. I set it up for him, gave it to his son. Absolutely fell in love with it. He is now part of this whole community, and I love that. So anyway, his problem was, like, about a year later, the sticks went dead on him. And when I mean dead, I don't mean like they just didn't work. I mean they floppy. He picks it up and they just fucking bounce around in there. But he's a kid. Probably all his fault. So they're doing a mini version of this. At least patent filed for a mini version, which is really cool to see them filing patents and doing their thing. And, you know, I'm excited to see Trim UI actually step into the ring. They're actually here. They're actually doing their thing. Love it. But yeah, it'll probably be like the 40XXH. Kind of got that rounded shape. Hopefully they do something with some ergonomics on it. Try and keep that 16:9 look going. This could be good. This could be a good one. And Trim UI is never that bad with price. So, and they're like Pal Kitty. They're never like, let's grab a fucking Dimensity and a fucking Snapdragon and charge everybody $400. Nah, they go right down the middle, man. You know, let's max out around that. Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, everybody can play PS1 and some PSP, and that's the sweet spot, man. That really is. That gives you a massive library of games. Everybody's happy, and they're doing it big, and there's still plenty of money to be made there. So this could be amazing. Moving on. You guys know my history with the Retroid Pocket Classic. Probably my most hated video, and the video that got me the most hate in my email, comments, all over the place, was my video on the Retroid Pocket Classic, because it felt like a cheap piece of shit to me. I would like to go on the record and say this now in reference to the Retroid Pocket Classic, that if you did not like that video and it upset you, you're not going to like this shit either. Kiss my ass. It's still a cheap piece of shit, but now it's in black and gray. It's not the new classic. It's just a different color, Jack. Not these guys. Retroid. Who gives a shit? I mean, come on. Oh, God. It's the 6 button and it's black and gray. Sega! No, it ain't. You fucking bitch. No. Don't care, all right? I'm looking for a 6 button handheld to have me a dedicated Sega handheld. And this isn't even on my fucking radar. Okay? I'm looking at the RG Arc still. Because I don't need this shit for Sega. Alright, this is going to cost too much for a Sega handheld, you know, something I'm only going to put Sega games on, and games that need a 6 button. And it has, I mean, honestly, the internals are just unnecessary. Alright? And this bullshit, God, get the fuck out of here. And the fact that, you know, when they did this, I know there was a lot going on with shipping, but they drew a line, okay? If you were part of this, some of us ordered like teal or kiwi. My sponsor ordered, I think, the teal or kiwi one. He was one of those two. And Retroid sent them an email and said, no, you can't have those because you're in the US, but you can have whatever color that was in my video, the normal bullshit. They're like, those we can ship, but these ones we're not going to ship to the US. So he had to pick a different color than what he wanted. He did after we got it. Retro was like, oh yeah, by the way, now we can ship teal and kiwi wherever. Fucking stupid. Like they could have, anyway, but it's still like kind of off center. It feels like a hollowed out cheap piece of shit. I mean, the screen is decent, but their designs lately, this type of bullshit is dumb. I mean, look at the Flip 2. That fucking radar dome on it. Immediately, if you hit Etsy, there's stickers to go over it. Look at Aiden Wall's YouTube, right? People are already designing different like covers for it to replace that horrible design. It's that dumb. And Retroid's probably like, they love it. They really, really love it. Oh my God, we got to do this again. Everybody's talking about our designs. They must love it. Please Google Translate. That is stupid. It's ugly. What the fuck were you thinking? You should have just put retroid on it or nothing. You know, let us put whatever the fuck stupid shit we want to put on it. Dumb. Moving on. Yeah, here we are with the Anbernic video. So, the Anbernic RG477M. Yes, it's new. No, it's not new. Okay? This is Anbernic going back to the original formula, okay? This is original recipe, but newer, all right? And you guys know what I mean by this, right? This is not an XX device, which a lot of people just went, hell yes, finally something that's not an XX device or whatever. I know we just did the slide, so you're thinking, what is he talking about? You know what I mean. Since they did the slide, we were expecting another XX line. What we wanted was an XX. We wanted the slide XX, but they were already working on this. This doesn't mean they're not doing a slide XX. This means this was going on at the same time as the slide. We already knew this. There was already leaks of this while the slide was preparing to launch. So this was being done same time. All right. Now, if a company can pump out handhelds, if any company can pump out handhelds quick as shit, it is Anbernic. These things go flying through. They're like, I have an idea. And they're like, cool, we already made it. And they're like, well, what I was going to do, all right, there's an XX version now. So, but it's working for them. You know, I'm a big Anbernic fan. The only Anbernic device I really haven't fallen in love with was my slide. Great device, guys, okay? But I just don't have the hands for it. I do like it. Everything made sense when I got it. But yeah, this is some jackass throwing a screen on it. Yeah, whatever. But here we go. Playing chat. I mean, you see this in everything, okay? They probably have a video out there of the Nano playing PS2 and doing like Black Myth Wukong or some shit. They've been picking that game up. There it is. Yeah, they pick this for everything at this point. Everything, you know, Moonlight, Black Myth, Wukong. And then it's always this shit with the... We know this is a feature, Anbernic. Okay? We know. You don't have to do this. All right? We get that shit. I mean, that could be at the bottom of the fucking details page. By the way, you can play multiplayer on it with Bluetooth controllers like you can every other handheld for the last 10 years. Anyway. So, speculation is Dimensity chip, I think. Maybe. I mean, we know Anbernic's model. So 477M. M means it's metal, 4.7 inch screen, 7 series, 7th version, 7th gen type of thing. So that'll put it in the 557 area. So it could be Dimensity like the 557. Oh, here we go. Features the same internals as the 557 paired with the slides display. So you get the RG slide display with the internals of the 557. The RG slide has a really good screen. However, and by the way, this is the first time I've read this, that this is the RG slides display on this. Not into that. Okay? I think the T820 in the slide was the highest end that you're going to want to put paired with that screen. Okay? I know, and I know you're about to hit the comments and say, but they had that screen specially designed for the slide, and they had it made specifically. Yeah, that is absolutely what they told you, and I am really happy that you believe everything you hear. And I'm not even saying that they didn't do that. But if you're not thinking this way, that if you always just believe this, you have a problem. You need to always be just a little bit suspicious here. You always need to have a little doubt, because you never know. All right? Now, pairing this screen with the Dimensity, I mean, it's a screen. It'll turn on. You're going to be able to see the gameplay. It really depends on the price, guys. If they're going to price this the same as the 557, which I don't think they're going to, or at least they shouldn't, because right now that 557 is like the flagship. And you're not going to want to put anything near that price-wise because you want this to sell. However, this should come off as the cheaper alternative to the 557. Okay, that's absolutely what they should be aiming for, right? A cheaper 557, same internals, worse screen. So, and that's what sucks. The screen. The slide screen is great. Okay, I'm going to say that again. However, it should have just stayed with the slide or used it for something else. It's because, and you guys know I'm a fan of OLED. You know I love AMOLED screens. I'm a sucker for a great screen. And it's not that it's a bad screen, but they're going to use the hell out of this screen now. Okay? And I don't know how I feel about it. It all comes down to price. They price it right. That's a good screen. Good internals. Fine. I would put money on, actually, and you should just look at the specs and know this is going to be true. It'll be more expensive than the slide. Hopefully cheaper than the 557. If it's more expensive than the 557, just get the 557. If it's right between, and they're going to end up putting this $10-20 off of the 557, okay? And even at that point, go with the 557 for the screen. All right, I'm going to end it there. I don't feel like ranting and raving about that shit. You know what I'm trying to say. It's maybe a 4.7-inch AMOLED display would work here. It would be great. It would look wonderful. Also, all of this depends on price. So I can say this all I want, and then next week or tomorrow or an hour from now, they release the price. Someone sees my video and goes, wow, you're stupid. It's this price. That always happens. It's like nobody looks when the video is released, you know. I've had people comment on videos when I was talking about handhelds that were coming out. And I had a guy go back and I just erased the comment, but he went back talking about this handheld's been out for 6 months. The video was 8 months ago. No shit. Sorry. Just sometimes the sheer stupidity you find on the internet is, yeah, you know what? It shouldn't amaze me anymore. Sometimes it does. All right, guys, I'm wrapping this up. We should have the Magic X 040 this week, like I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Super, super excited about that. I'm giving Magic X a chance. They are going to go through the gauntlet here. You guys know my reviews. You know I am harsh. You know I don't play that shit. All right, I keeps it 100. When that comes in, you're going to get my honest opinion on it. All right. If it comes in and I got, I'm going to play on it as much as I can before I do the video, but I'm going to go home, get the device, open it up, set it up, do what I can on it, pass out, wake up, shower, come to work, and give you my opinion. Okay? These handhelds don't get a lot of time with me before you start seeing it show up on my video. Now, like the slide, I'll do a quick video. This is what I've experienced so far. And then I will use the hell out of it for a few days and give you a secondary video saying, okay, now I've really used it. Here's my honest take. I wish my camera would stop sliding to the right. It's pissing me off. All right, so right now that's what's going on in the channel. See, my camera's just walking. I got to get new equipment, guys. I'm so sorry that my channel is shit, but I'm low budget as hell. Stop fucking moving, camera. You're pissing me off. Anyway, yep. That's all that's really on the docket. I mean, we're waiting on the screen from Retroid, which that's August, I guess. Still, I don't understand. I mean, we've seen, it's one of those things that they announce it, people get test products, you see it, everybody test it, it's awesome. It fades from memory because after seeing it, they don't release it for a whole nother month or two, and then people are like, oh yeah, fuck, I forgot that was a thing. You're not keeping it relevant. You're releasing info too early. You're sending out samples too early. You need to keep this closer together, guys. You got to keep the hype up. When the hype dies, shit moves fast today, you know? By tomorrow, you're irrelevant again because somebody else did something else. All right. I'll see you guys in the next episode. I'm going to get my ass to work.